Okay, we are live. Welcome everybody to the node.js security meeting, 21 of December. Before start, does anybody have any announcement? I don't think so. So I would like to gently ask to put your name in the minutes I sent in the chat. So your name and your GitHub handle should be enough. As usual, we go to the announcements, which is the vulnerability review and the scorecard monitor review, and then we start discussing the topics. I know that Robert, Anton, and Maximilian are here to discuss different topics, right? Robert, if I remember correctly, is to discuss the policy implementation on Windows, right? Okay. Anton?
Yes, we're here to discuss the issue regarding S-bombs.
Okay. And
So, more specific, we are from the SPDX team and have worked on a implementation of in JavaScript, and we were connected with you guys to talk about that.
Okay, right. So I believe we can I can just flag the vulnerability review as done, and the OpenSSF's monitor review, we can put it as the last item in the agenda. So okay, let's start with the fuzzing. No, actually it's the SBOM one. Let me just adjust that. Do you want to take lead, Marco?
Yeah, sure. So, can you guys introduce yourself and add a bit of context about? So, yeah, feel free to go.
So you mean regarding the SPDX implementation? So yeah, I would just start with a brief introduction. Hey, I'm Max. Doing compliance open source tooling since 8 years now. Working for TNG, a small IT consulting company in Munich, and we just recently contributed a new tool to the SPDX group, which allows generation of SBOM files with TypeScript, JavaScript stuff. And Tony or Anton Bauhofer, who did a lot of the work, is also here on the call. Maybe you can continue with your short intro.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm also here, and I'm also working for TNG. And together we have developed, a small library to create SPDX S-bombs for JavaScript projects. And that could come in handy here, I guess. Yeah.
So in terms of SBOM, we started considering CDXGen as a tool for the SBOM generation, and that's because of this. We wanted to follow the standard of Cyclone DX that right now is being standardized by ECMA. So we were going into that direction. So yeah, this is the actual situation. There is nothing done now, but we're still in like trying to discuss and see what's the best solution for the node. Like considering the fact that it's not just a JavaScript project, it's C++, C, and so it's quite complex.
Yeah, I fully agree. I also think that CDX is for sure a capable standard. I think both are interchangeable or interoperable in some way that you can convert back and forth. And I think the SPDX is ISO standard, so also that as a check mark there. But yeah, it's I think it's a helpful puzzle piece. The library we wrote, we added tooling for generating SBOMs for Yarn projects, so it's helpful for others, not just for the Node.js project. I think it's maybe helpful in that sense. I think it's SBOM efforts are something where we like to contribute and where we like to participate. That's why we are here. And that library might be a helpful puzzle piece, but there are also other tools for sure that can work there. And I'm certainly not an expert in CDX, but just to one further comment regarding SPDX, it's made for composability. So if you have all these different technologies, SPDX is built so that you can build a bigger document from all these smaller puzzle pieces, and therefore this having native SPDX support for JavaScript, npm builds, Yarn builds, gives you some piece of the whole puzzle. Yeah.
Yeah. So my suggestion in this case would be to like talk under the issue, the GitHub issue, because right, like today, there is also someone who started working on the SBOM from I think it's one of the maintainer of the CDX Gen. So it would be great to have an asynchronous, today is not here. So it would be great to have a discussion to see which solution could fit best the Node.js project, but it's still very open to discussion. It's nothing decided yet. So yeah, I think the next meeting would be also great if you had like a small demo showcasing the library, so that it helps us to understand which are the best like the features, and like decide on which direction to go.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. In fact, like following the discussion that you mentioned, I think the approach that is discussed there is pretty much in line with what we could do with SPDX as well. I think the suggestion was kind of to look into the different parts of Node.js separately and then collect the contents from there. And that would be the same approach for either CDX or for SPDX, I think.
And in the end, it's a benchmark of tools, and so you need to compare how the different tools handle your specific build environment.
Yeah, exactly. That's why having probably it's better to have a bit of showcasing and talking about the different features that this tool have to decide which one would be the best fit for Node.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a complex problem.
Yeah. So like we can move this to the next meeting. So there will also be the people from CDX Gen, so we can have a like more in-depth discussion and some showcasing.
Sure, happy to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Anything else relevant to discuss in this meeting about SBOMs?
There haven't been much work going on in terms of SBOM this last week, so I think we can just skip it and move to the next meeting.
Okay. Right. The next item on our agenda is the Node.js code integrity on Windows, issue 1149. And Robert? Oh, okay. Sorry, Amir, you raised the hand.
Yes, hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I thought I would just give my update really quickly to the group, and then I will drop so y'all can discuss the rest of the things for today's meeting. But the first one is that issue that I originally submitted. I think it's issue 1145. I think that issue can be closed because I think that was just originally to get onto the agenda. So I think we can close that one. And then the main effort that we are doing is being tracked in issue 1159, where Adam Korchinski is also a part of that thread as well, and we'll be providing updates via the issue whenever we have new updates regarding the fuzzing initiative.
Okay, right.
And then I'm hoping soon, maybe if not in the next meeting, maybe the meeting after, one of the upcoming meetings, I will get Adam to join this meeting as well, to discuss any updates or questions regarding the fuzzing work that's being done.
Okay, right. Got it. Also, I can ping Adam, or if you want, whenever he creates a request that addresses one of the fuzzing ideas, tell him to ping the security team in the request. Otherwise, we won't get notified, and we won't be able to review it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I will let Adam know. So just be sure to ping security work group in any pull requests you said.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
Will
you.
do. Thank you. And if any thoughts or questions, anything comes up in the meantime, please feel free to comment on the issue or email me directly. But yeah, I hope to have more material updates for the group soon.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. If I don't talk to you before then, have a great new year, and look forward to giving everyone updates soon. And thank you for all of your help with all this, Rafael. Appreciate it.
No worries. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, following up our agenda, issue 1149, code integrity on Windows. Robert?
Hey, yeah, thanks. So this is just to follow up on basically our last discussion. I don't know if you recall, but a while ago, we discussed kind of a potential gap in the trust chain for node policies, where an attacker who has command line access could modify basically the current command line parameters that ensure node executes in its code integrity mode. And basically, I've been working on integrating node.js with OS level code integrity features. So an attacker who has access to the command line could no longer kind of disable enforcement of code integrity of policies. When we left off that discussion, the recommendation was to send out a pull request with basically the changes to help illustrate what we were thinking, where we were thinking on taking this. So I've done that and made a draft PR and sent that out for review, and just wanted to use this time to kind of facilitate any discussion around it. If you had any questions, I thought it'd be easier to just kind of talk about it in person real quick, because it kind of integrates with Windows code integrity, which can kind of be a bit of something pretty large to bite off of, and I thought it would be easier to just talk in person or talk online rather than go back and forth through the GitHub issue. But I'm open to whatever. It seems like I believe I was working with Bradley on this in the past, and it seemed like he was leading the policy integrity feature, and he's not here at the moment. So I'm not sure how far we'll get in this discussion, but if you could just tell me kind of what the next steps would be for getting this into like a state that you would like to see it in, and eventually merged into main.
Okay. So I took a look on this pull request, and I assume that you did most of the changes on UV, and you are planning to move it to the upstream if we approve this approach, right?
That's correct. And I just like to point out that I'm not super familiar with how things need to be laid out within the node project, so I'm open to moving them to wherever makes the most sense for y'all.
Okay. Yeah. Some specific functions, for instance, UV is node UMC. I don't believe it will be landed on libuv because that's unrelated to their project. So you need to find a way to include it in the Node.js project instead of in the libuv side. Other things is that, if I understand correctly, we have a way to we are adding a new flag, which is the policy signature, and we normally sign that P7s file, and we guarantee that in the startup of the Node.js process, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That was the addition, because currently you could pass a string,
Yep.
the site reliability string for the policy file, and if someone had access to command line, they could change that value. But with a signature that's signed by a trusted key that's trusted by the OS code integrity system, you can no longer just make that modification at the command line, because you would have to re-sign the policy file using what is potentially a very protected key.
Okay. I see some obstacles when landing it on different environments, like non Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, but ARM, AAX, SmartOS, because I don't think they will have the same ability to sign these keys by default, unless like they will need to install a third-party package or something. This might be one of the problems if we start running the tests. The second one, just to explain to the audience that we don't consider it as a vulnerability because per policy or per threat model, we don't we trust in the file system. So if someone has access to the same environment as you're running Node.js process, it's not in the Node.js scope to guarantee that. However, it doesn't mean that we can't create flags or things to secure that, which is the intention of Robert. I need to read the pull request a bit more, but how do you guarantee that other process or other users won't be able to dump the memory and just change the value?
I think that's a good call out and something that I should think about and consider in this. I think that's, let's see.
Yeah, the point I'm raising here is that basically I will try to find all the gaps, since we are trying to achieve like the maximum security in this specific approach. I'm trying to look to the other potential gaps, and honestly speaking, that would be hard. Creating a feature to guarantee that things won't be changed will be very hard, and in the end, I don't think this pull request will be valid without all of it, right?
So, the idea behind preventing, so the way that we kind of guarantee that someone potentially does not have access to dump the memory is that um, when the system is running in this kind of code integrity enforcement lockdown mode, basically only executables signed and trusted by the system code integrity policy are allowed to execute. And presumably no debuggers would be under that list of allowed executables. Our current guidance for people running in this code integrity mode is to specifically disallow many debuggers on Windows that have the capability to just read arbitrary process memory. So by itself, this is no guarantee that someone wouldn't be able to dump memory, but with good system administration and basically policy enforcement, no debuggers would be allowed to run on this same machine that Node.js is potentially running on.
Right. Okay. In any case, there are some suggestions, which is
Okay.
remove Node.js specific functions from libuv and move it to Node.js. But before that, I would make sure that this is some guarantee, because I know that recently we have received some HackerOne reports on regarding policy mechanism. And after some discussion, some thoughts, Bradley also said that policy mechanism is not to be a restrict security feature, but a kind of a safeguard. It does guarantee that you won't die, but it's just something that will prevent it. And there are some edge cases that won't be fixed by the permission model. It's something that is out of the scope. And I don't know if you have talked with Bradley, but maybe this might be one of the cases. What I can do is to ping Bradley in the pull request again, and then we raise some thoughts there, and we can do it asynchronously. And if we don't have an answer in the pull request, I can spend more time in the issue and think about if that will work or not. And then I can
that'd be
provide
much
more feedback.
appreciated. That sounds perfect with me. So if you want to just continue these discussions in the pull request, that works with me. I just want to make sure that I have the right people tagged in the pull request to help kind of answer the questions that I have and potentially move this forward.
Yeah, okay. So I would just recommend if you can include to the pull request description the issue and basically a reproducible example, so we can test and see how can we bypass that. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next issue in your agenda was the OSTIF, but Amir already spoke. And then we have the permission model. I have also updated all the list. I have created a bunch of requests to the permission model. They should be landing soon. And Lee Holmes, do you have anything specific that you want to talk about? Or
Lee was with me. He's
okay,
we're
right.
working on this together.
Okay, sorry. I put your name in the agenda, okay? You both work at Microsoft, right?
That's right.
Okay. The next issue in your agenda is the license checker. I remember we have assigned someone to this issue, but
yeah, but he disappeared.
okay.
Yeah, I tried to ping, but so
okay.
Should be.
Should we remove it from the agenda until we find someone to work on that?
Yeah, or we can, I don't know, advertise it a bit like, who wants to pick this one? It's a good first issue.
Yeah. Okay. Removing from the agenda for now, and then I'll try to put on social media and so on. Next one, audit build for dependencies. I believe this is waiting for the SBOM resolutions, right?
Yeah, I'm just having a look at some dependencies. So there is something that concerns me a little bit, that we have some dependencies that we need to build with ESBuild locally, like Minimatch and Undici. So yeah, like, would be good to have kind of discussion on how we can since Undici is part of the Node.js project, we can do that directly, and also Minimatch from Isaac. So we have a bit of control over this, so to avoid bundling inside Node. So when we download the dependency, then we have to bundle it, and to do some modification. It would be great to skip this step directly and just pull it and use it. So
do you know for which reason we use Minmatch on core?
It's for something related to tests, but I have not been involved in the discussion.
Maybe we have used it before the node test feature, and we don't need it anymore. It'd be great, like instead of spending time on finding a way to do that, we check if we need it. Otherwise, we can just.
Yeah, especially I fixed the build, so it's it's more smooth. We keep the package lock on that, so it's a bit more documented. But for example, on Undici, we have a build step that's very ugly. So I think we should discuss. We should have a look at it. I will probably add it in the agenda and see what we can do about it.
Okay, that makes sense for me. And for the other dependencies, have you checked Ada or something?
No, I haven't looked at C++ dependencies yet.
Okay.
But I will just document them because
Yeah.
And then we will see what we can do. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Do you have any question on this or anything they want to discuss, or we can move on?
My case, we can move on.
Okay.
Just one thing at the end. I would like 2 minutes with just the collaborators or the team members of security to discuss something off camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Initiative, CIA best practice. I know that Richard raised a concern on the silver level, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's because I created 2 new pull requests. So yeah, let me share the link. So I don't know if you remember, like time ago I say like I will like collect all the discussions that we have done during the pull request and so on how we arrived to the agreement, plus the context on the scorecard documentation. So it's better because just by checking that, I understand that some of the responses might not be correct. So I created 2 pull requests. One is the 1163. Let me pass that on the
silver
chat.
level.
Yeah, for the silver level, and the 62, which is for the entry level. So those are the changes. You don't have to say, you don't have to agree already, but just to check it out if the format works for you, like how we include like the new context with the links and so on. If that works, might have a lot of room for improvement. Also, let me know if the documentation that I pick from the core infrastructure links and so on is fine, or or not that okay. So we can have a discussion. But I didn't modify the responses at all. It's just addition of the context for what we have done in the past.
I would just just one thing. I know that you are tagging main on the links, but since things can change in the past, maybe you can use the latest commit chassis.
That's a good one. Yeah, I can do a find replace easily. Okay, that's a very good suggestion. Yeah, and I think Richard responds to one of them in the silver, because I think for the silver we have 2 pull requests open. One for this, and one where we are discussing with Rod about the changes to be done on the website that currently are not completed because we're having some issues with the permissions to modify them. So basically discussions ongoing. And I updated the context also on the gold level pull request. So I think now it's a good moment to start also the discussion, we enter in the new year and so on the good level, even if we are not yet, sure 100% that the silver is there, but at least we can see in the gold level. Also, if some of the questions in the gold level are responded on silver level, I put a note, so you don't have to respond there because we assume that we propagate that manually. It's not the best, but at least it's easy to don't have the same discussion in 3 places. So yeah, that's more or less the changes and improvements from my side on this.
Okay, so my recommendation is to in the next meeting we move it to one of the first items in the agenda, and then we do a deep dive if we have more people to discuss it, like Michael and so on.
That's good. Yeah, I can even do some pre-work, like highlighting the things that I think that worth discussing or that are maybe wrong with the new information that we have. That way also we can make it easier for the live discussions.
Okay, sure thing. Thank you. So just to finalize the meeting, we can go to the OpenSSF scorecard monitor review. I know that Ulysses opened the issue.
Yeah.
But I believe we don't have many changes, right?
We don't have any changes. Let me share my screen. There is actually a lot of positive things happening in this report this time. So first of all, we have you can see the score, right? Well, the issue, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, the big news is we increased the security for the node.js org repository in 1.4 points. And the second thing is there has been some changes on the visualization on the visualizer. So basically, in the past, when you remember that sometimes you see here like a -1 because there was like no option to that or whatever. So then now it's replaced by a question mark. So basically now it's ignored and you can see like, but you still see the details. So for example, if there is any kind of context, why is the -1? If it's up here, is the reason, because sometimes you get a problems with the license or whatever. So you can see that here.
Okay.
Also, we are working on the idea of having these tags like you have here on the right. We are going to put in the left saying like, how critical is this? Like medium, high, low, and so on. So you can see the impact better, because sometimes you see a lot of changes, but you don't see like the global differences, but you will see better in the next release. But yeah, also we solved the problem with the math. There was an issue here that sometimes we do the calculation instead from 0 to the new number to the -1 if the previous record was -1. So that was also a little bit tricky. So yeah, and regarding the Node.js org team, a lot of good things. Basically, a lot of test improvement, a lot of code review improvement, a lot of pin dependencies. I just saw this a little bit before. Now the license is fully recognized. I'm not very sure it was a change on the robot or part of the pull request that they done. But yeah, basically the same goes for the pin dependencies and using SAST on all the latest commits. So basically that's why we increased 1.4. So that was a good move for the team. And also the tokens permission. So it was a lot of greenish and a lot of improvements in that way.
Okay.
And the rest of the repos, I think it's fine, like typical fluctuation on the scoring, and also not repos that we are really focused on right now. Well, aside from Ditzy, but it's just a -0.1, so we can for now skip it if you want, and we can jump to the private part of the discussion if we want.
Okay, amazing. Good to hear that a few fixes are being released. Right. Okay, I'm closing the issue as completed, and that's the end of our agenda. So I would like to thank Maximilian and Anton for joining us. Hope to see you in the issues and in the next time to discuss SBOM and SPDX.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, folks.
Bye.
Let me